I was so excited to be able to pick up this particular brand and this particular bag at 40% off from Net-a-Porter when they kicked off their private sale, which led into the Black Friday sale. However, when I opened this box and finally took a look at this particular bag, I was so disappointed, and unfortunately, spoiler alert, this bag is going to be returned to Net-a-Porter. Let me tell you why and why you should avoid this particular bag. Let's get right into it and not waste any more time. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that Toteme is a Swedish brand that I covered, I want to say almost 2.5 years ago when it's actually one of the first few videos I've done on independent brands that you may not have heard of. So if you want to go check out that original video, definitely do so because I go into a lot more detail. Now, you probably have heard Toteme here and there by other YouTubers, and I want to just highlight them super quickly, why I think they're different. And they have changed over the years a little bit, but they are incredibly transparent. Back in the day, again, if you look at my original video and their ethos about being a sustainable brand and making sure that they're abiding by all of the laws and all of the ethos that we care about, not, quote unquote, and other brands and, exploiting workers. Toteme has done a really good job showcasing that and making sure that they are very transparent with their clients and customers on where they source their items, how they manufacture everything. Again, in that original video, you will see that they even list out all of the manufacturers that they use for their leather, for their craftsmanship, for their, wool, and all of the different materials and where they source them from. They have since eliminated that. And I thought that was kind of interesting because if you really think about it, it is trade secrets. If you list out all of the manufacturers, the suppliers, and their addresses, other competitors can reach out to those and overwhelm them with orders. And then that way, Toteme can't, fulfill their own orders if they provide so much information out there. So I thought that was interesting to point out. But enough of me yapping. Let me show you the bag and kind of do a show and tell you why I'm quite disappointed with this bag and why I'm returning it. So the bag I decided to pick up is the T-lock bag in the brown color and the mock croc size, also with the gold hardware. I'll make sure to insert some mod shots as I am filming at night and I've got a million ring lights on me, so it might not truly reflect how beautiful this bag is. And yes, I am saying it is beautiful, but there is a fundamental design flaw with this particular bag. Now, the T-lock bag is a very popular bag, and when I covered it 2.5 years ago, you asked, Nikki, why didn't you just buy the bag if you're so enamored with it? One, it did not come with gold hardware. I'm a gold hardware girly, and of course, if it's the highlight right here, I want it to be gold hardware. So that's reason number one, I never purchased it. Reason number two, it mostly came in black, brown, I guess like a caramel color, and white, again with silver hardware. So I was waiting for them to come out with gold hardware, and I wanted something a little bit special. Now, obviously, again, for those of you who have been with me for a while, I'm not really drawn to black bags. White bags, kind of, but I feel like white with silver hardware just didn't really match. And of course, the caramel color would suffice as well. However, when this particular print came out in the brown and the mock croc, I was just like, yes, I want it. I love it. This is totally my jam. But you know me, I am cheap. And of course, I did not want to pay full price, which this one full price, I think is $13.90 USD, $1,400. And I know Toteme do go on sale quite often. I just have to wait it out. And of course, practicing self-control where if I really wanted it and by the time it goes on sale, that's when I'll purchase it, which is, obviously right now why it's in my hands, right? I did post this on my Instagram stories to jump on this bag if you were interested. So for those of you who aren't already following me on Instagram, I post all of the great deals that I think are very curated. And if it's not good enough of a deal, I'm not going to post it. So if you don't follow me there, definitely do so as deals comes up. Less than retail, obviously. That is the fastest way I can get information to you. As I'm doing a quick spin of this bag, I will say this is the regular size. It does come in two different sizes. One that they call a clutch, where it comes with a shoulder strap, and then you've got the regular size where it's got the top handle and it also includes a shoulder strap. Now, the T-lock right here, how you open it is just a little twist and then you pop it open. I'll come back to that. And then on the bottom, you do have 4 feet. It literally has checked all of the boxes based on the pictures. The top handle you can see flows right through to the side of the bag where it is attached by this particular D-ring. The top handle is not adjustable. Now the interior, as you can see, is one big open compartment. You'll find 2 slip pockets there. The top opening flap is still leather, and then the rest of it, including the bottom opening flap, is all microfiber suede, which essentially is fake. I guess I wouldn't call it fake suede, just basically cloth lining. And the bag itself is made in Italy. You will find 2 D-rings attached to the interior side of the bag. That's where you will attach your shoulder strap, which you'll find the traditional kind of like the lobster claw that Louis Vuitton is quite famous for. So it's very similar to that design. Quality feels relatively nice. The strap is adjustable with this buckle, and it is a nice touch for them to emboss, I can't ever get that right, but their name is etched into the metal hardware here, and it feels relatively nice as well. I will say the metal on the buckle is much nicer than the actual. I feel like this is pretty generic and almost feels like the color doesn't match 100%. Only if you like really are nitpicking about it. Taking a look at the glazing of the bag itself, it's done very nicely. And the leather itself is just beautiful. It smells beautiful. And it like, you do get punched in the face, which I love, by the leather smell. So far you're watching this and you're like, Nikki, you're just giving it praises. 10 out of 10 would recommend, right? No, this is where it starts to fall apart, because when I opened it, I was just like, yay, I'm so excited. But then once I started, like within 5 minutes, I wouldn't even say 5 minutes, I immediately know that this would annoy me so much that I cannot keep this bag because I would not reach for it. This is where the problem lies. All of this right here. The top handle, like I said, is not adjustable, right? So when you open this bag, this flap, you see how it just opens right here? Like this hits it. You would basically have to kind of maneuver it and then just like smash the bag down and then try to open it, which is going to get caught on the top handle, and that alone in itself is going to annoy me so much. And guess what? It's not just one flap that you have to play around with. It's 2 flaps that you have to kind of like maneuver around. Then it comes to another annoyance of mine where you're trying to access your bag, but then guess what? You've got this one strap smack in the middle, covering and just getting in the way of you, 1, getting things out, and 2, seeing what you have in the back. Yes, this sounds like first world problems. However, you know, these are handbags that you spend a shit ton of money on. You should not have these kind of frustrations. So again, demonstrating right here, I'm pushing it down and then I've got to kind of just bend to make sure the bag closes. The flap goes down underneath the handle. Now, I understand that this is mock croc and the leather might be a lot stiffer, a lot more structured, whereas their original leather is more of a malleable grained leather, which is why you get that kind of karate chop and slouchy look to the bag. And then at the bottom, it is structured, which I love. In my opinion, has the best of both worlds, where you get like kind of like the karate chop slouchiness and then structure at the bottom. However, in this particular print, in this particular material, it just doesn't work. And of course, because the material is much more structured, this is going to crease horribly and it's gonna look absolutely horrendous, in my opinion. Now, again, I have had a lot of experience with handbags and I can foresee that happening very quickly after a few uses only. The other thing I also noticed, which I said that the glazing is fantastic. However, when I am doing this, my hand actually starts scraping on the edge. Now, it is not, I would say it's a little sharp on the bottom here. If I were to just carry it like this, probably not the biggest deal. However, when I am doing this and my top of my hand is scraping here, there is a certain angle where it starts getting quite sharp, and that's, again, not a pleasant experience. The other deal breaker for me when it comes to this bag, and I don't know why this is a surprise to me, because other YouTubers or their social media people have unboxed this bag and showed off this particular T-lock design. The T-lock, this is like, it's so little. It's not of a pinhole. It's not a, I guess, lock and clasp. I don't even know what you call it. Like when I see this, I think of a nipple. I don't know why. But this thing is so tiny that you would literally have to play target practice. Like you better be accurate if you want to be fast. And then this T-lock, and you have to, you know, push it back into place to secure your bag, so to speak, right? When you're in a hurry and you're, you know, just through normal wear and tear, because you're not going to be accurate every single time, this is going to get incredibly scratched up. Sure, it's at the bottom and you would only see it when you are twisting it open, but like that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I do not want my bag and the very little bit of hardware that this bag does have to be incredibly worn looking. And I will say that this is definitely not 24 karat gold plated. So once that wears through, like the gold right here wears through, it's gonna look terrible. Even though it is still very small, you're gonna see the color difference of the silver underneath, like the metal color, as opposed to the gold color. The last thing I want to point out about the top handle strap is just how this is not adjustable, right? In my opinion, you should be able to adjust the strap, because look, there's enough length for you to move the strap. You know, again, that would kind of solve the issues that I have with this bag if the top handle strap was adjustable. I'm incredibly sad that I have to return this bag, because after 2.5 years of me discovering this brand and this particular bag, and then finally finding the variations and the specs that I really like, the gold hardware, the mock croc, the brown color, like it checked every single box of mine, that I was so confident that, again, also not to mention at 40% discount, I was so confident that I was going to keep this bag and freaking love it. However, this is not to say there is a clutch version, which is much smaller. It's not on sale. Still in the mock croc, the brown color, etc., that I think might work out for me, just because it does not include that top handle. So if I do find that on sale, or if you guys find it on sale, please send it to me so that I can kind of check off the box. And kind of a dream, like, I mean, obviously not really a wish list item, but it has been on the back of my mind. Now, if it's just this area that I have to deal with the smaller one, I'm still willing to put up with it. But when it's like the top handle and the lock being a pain in the ass, then yeah, no, that has been completely written off by me. One thing I also want to mention is that Net-a-Porter has a 14-day return policy now before you get charged an extra like $10. Again, this is applicable to the US. I don't know what it is in other countries, but I was doing a lot of trips, so I wasn't able to open this bag right away. It sat in a box for over 2 weeks, and I was just catching up with work before the holidays. So I also didn't realize it was 14 days. Maybe I did and I forgot, but just know that Net-a-Porter has changed their return policy. It is free to return it for the first 14 days. Anything after that, which I think is the 30-day return window, during the holiday season, I think it might be a little bit longer, like till end of January, but you do get charged $10 for the return shipping, or I guess restocking costs. So just want to make you aware of the changes. Read the fine print, because if you join their program and you've shopped there enough, then returns are free. But if you only check out as a guest, then it is, you know, $7.99 or $10.99 or $15.99 for you to do a huge amount, or just a return in general. So that's some new implementation that has gone in effect with a lot of online shopping this particular year. So I hope you really enjoyed my brutally honest opinion. This was kind of a dream bag, even though it's not really like high on my priority list or anything, but I've been eyeballing Toteme for 2.5 years, and I had really high expectations because of their ethos and their philosophy and their story and their transparency. But this turned out to be a complete disappointment. And maybe if I were to get another bag from Toteme, it would be hopefully a better experience. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Love to have a conversation with you. I rely on you every single week to talk about frivolous things like handbags with me. I'll leave you another video here or an entire playlist to the mid-range. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see y'all next time.